Hola, hello everyone. I would say good morning, but I'm pretty sure it's about noon here by now. So this is just my periodic check-in that I do to let you guys know how the low carb lifestyle is going, the low carb vegan lifestyle is going. I promised you guys a long time ago. I promised the people watching this, and I promised myself that I would continue my updates and check-ins because I want you guys to know that this was never just about losing the weight. It was definitely about losing the weight, but that wasn't all it was about. It was creating a lifestyle where I knew the weight would never come back, where I knew the weight was going to be gone permanently, which is not something I think I even really believed was possible. I mean, seriously, if I'm totally 100% honest, I don't know that I ever thought weight loss was 100% permanent or could be. Because I don't think I've ever really known anyone that's lost a large amount of weight, like hundreds of pounds, that has lost that kind of weight and kept it off permanently. I just don't think I've ever even heard of anybody or known anybody. I mean, I'm sure there's some random story out there somewhere. I don't know. I'd have to check, I guess. But yeah, okay, so how's things going? Quick update. I am in my eighth month of, no, my seventh month of maintenance. And not only am I in my seventh month of the maintenance that I started in February, but I am less than when I started my maintenance. So, yay for me, right? Um, Let me see what else is going on. The lifestyle changes that we've made, my husband and I don't even know where to start, you guys. I don't even know where to start. Some days I'm so happy and so astonished with where we're at in our life that I'm almost giddy. I'm almost like a little kid. Let me give you an example. Can you tell by how this video is being shot that I'm looking at you straight on? The video is on a table. The table's right here. Here's my hand. The table's right here. So there's my finger. It's like the only reason that it's even up that far is because the thing's flat on the table, the computer, but the screen that it shows is up higher for some reason. But anyway, yeah, this is probably, I'm going to go so far as to say this is probably the first public video I've ever made where I was looking at the camera straight on. Wow. That's a huge admission. I don't know how many people would actually admit to that. And I don't know why my phone is being so noisy. Let me see if I can shut that up, shut that down somehow. Jeez, guys, come on, let's quit that. Anyway, so I don't know how many people that I watch the videos that always take it from that angle, that angle that comes from up here to where when you look up at it, you see the slender face and the slender chin and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we all know those little tricks. If you've been on video on YouTube or anything like that for any amount of time, you know some tricks. You learn things as you go. And that was one of the first things as an obese person that I ever learned was how to be able to photograph myself or film myself to look my best, which is very deceiving. It really is very deceiving. And I probably should have took more videos straight on so I'd have them for comparisons now, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to worry about that. So that's a huge change for me that I don't have to sit here and try to figure out how to angle the computer or the phone or whatever. That's a really big thing. It really is. So, okay, that's something that makes me happy. Other big changes that we've made. Well, first of all, you guys know that I was determined when we bought our new house to grow food forest, right? I will have to slip in some pictures in here to show you guys my food forest. I have tomato plants that look like Jack and the Beanstalk. My tomato plants, some of them are 8 feet, some of them are 9 feet. They're way taller than I am. I don't know why I let them get so out of hand. But I've never had tomato plants grow like that, first of all. So who knew, right? I mean, I had no idea that was going to happen. So I have a squash garden for pumpkin and zucchini and butternut and spaghetti squash. And there's even some cantaloupe out there for the hubby. He doesn't know it because I'm growing them for him as a surprise. I've never been able to grow watermelon, but he loves cantaloupe, so I'm hoping for the cantaloupe. Um, I've got three huge containers of greens that we have been eating on since June. No, we've had our own greens since June, so I haven't had to buy any greens for a long time now. Love it. I absolutely love it. I gave my daughter called on a video call earlier, and I gave her a tour of the garden, and she was just like, "Wow, I cannot believe how huge it is." Because I started out with just like 3 containers in this little patch, right? And now it winds around. I actually have a fruit orchard. I have, 2 lemon trees, a lime tree, 2 blueberry bushes, and 2 different kinds of raspberry bushes so far. So I'm creating the food forest that I've always wanted and always dreamed of. I've always told my husband if we ever buy another house, I will have a food forest. We have blackberries growing wild here. I have an herb garden that has pretty much every kind of herb I can think of that I want that I use. I have some wild growing different kinds of mint. I have spearmint and peppermint. I, yeah, they grow differently in case you didn't know. So, yeah, I am creating a food forest. I'm doing what I set out to do, which is something I couldn't have done 100 something pounds ago, and I sure couldn't have done it 200 something pounds ago. And I don't know if you guys remember that my highest weight ever was 368. And then I had lost down in the 200s, and I was in the 200s for years. I mean, I just could not get in the 100s no matter what I did, no matter what. And I vacillated between 204 was like my lowest in the 200s that I ever got, and I tried to starve myself to get under 2 and couldn't even do it. But my average in the twos was 244 to 265 somewhere in there, and I started out this journey at 265. So yeah, if I wouldn't have lost that weight, there's just no way that I could take care of this property, take care of all the gardening that I have to do, take care of that garden. That garden is an everyday project. You don't get to ignore it. Like when we went on camping for a few days, you have to find people to take care of your garden and stuff like that. It's like not only do we need a cat sitter, we need a garden sitter. Yeah. So it's a lot of work, and I couldn't have done it before. And I'm so grateful every day when I do go out into my garden every morning and every afternoon and stuff. I'm so grateful that I'm at this place in my life, and I have not had to struggle to keep this weight off. Just so you know, it was a struggle in the beginning while I figured out the whole, vegan low carb thing and how I was gonna. Because after going high carb, low fat for almost 6 years at the time, 5 plus years, I didn't even know how I was going to ever make it doing low carb. Oh my God, I missed things like potatoes and beans, and there were so many things in the beginning. I was just like, I was almost crazy from it. And remember, I'm a baker. I bake a lot of homemade breads, so I missed the breads. I missed, homemade cinnamon rolls, and all these things are vegan if you make them right, right? But they were not healthy, and they were not something that I could consume without having terrible obesity problems. You know, and although I'm a chef and I'm a really good cook, so I know how to make a lot of those old things keto style. I don't do it a whole lot, and the reason I don't do it a whole lot is because I think that that's a slippery slope. Maybe not for everybody, but for me and my mate, that's a very slippery slope for us. Because what'll happen is I'll go, hey, I think I'm gonna surprise you, and I'm gonna make some cinnamon rolls. I actually have a recipe for low carb cinnamon rolls. No, I'm not going to share it because again, I think it's a slippery slope. Um, and so I'll make those the first day. And I'll only make like four because I don't never make a lot of anything, right? So I'll make like four of them, four pretty nice ones, right? And so that means we have them for a couple of days. So, and even though you're not using any real sugar, any real flour, anything that should do this to you, it does set off that need to feed on sweets and pastries every time. So then we have to fight that for a few days to get back to not caring about the pastries. I much prefer to be in a state of not caring about the pastries, not caring about the sugar, not missing sodas. Even though Diet Dr. Pepper was what I drank back in the day, and diet, it was a horrible habit I had. It was a bad habit, and I've given up soda for the last couple of years. I'm not going back to that. I quit smoking cigarettes after 38 years, and I've been quit for like 13, 14 years now. I would never want to be a smoker again. I don't want to be a soda drinker again. I don't want to consume sugar again. There's certain habits that I've had in my lifetime that have not served me well. And the last thing I'm ever going to do is purposely go back to those habits. Does that make sense? And even though when I make the low carb dessert options, they don't have sugar and they don't have those things, they do set off that memory, that longing for those things. It may not be a physical craving. I don't physically crave anything, but it's a longing for the old days, the old things, right? So yeah, I don't see the really good reason to do that to myself. So I don't do that a whole lot. Now I have come up with recipes for like potato salads, not using potatoes, using radish or daikon radish or whatever I choose to use that I've tried, right? I've tried a lot of things. Um, I will try to do those kind of things occasionally because my husband misses those things. And occasionally I'll do the resistant starch thing. And I don't know if you guys know anything about that. You might want to look it up. It's where you supposedly cook your potatoes one day and you have to let them be in the refrigerator for 24 hours to get really cold before you can use them, blah, blah, blah. I have done that for him a few times, but we don't do that very often either. Like in 2 years, I've done it 4 times. So again, he's not getting that very often either because I believe that that sets off that mental longing thing, okay? So we've had to make a lot of changes, but I'm going to tell you that those changes became easy once they became a habit. Like anything, you know, smoking is not an easy thing to do. Smoking is gross. Like I remember quitting, like one time when I was pregnant. I remember quitting when I was in the hospital. There's different times I've quit my life and been quit for a substantial amount of time and then picked the habit back up later. This is when I wasn't in my quitting days, right? And it was so gross and so disgusting and so just god awful, right? But I would get through that part and get to the habit of it. And once it became a habit, it didn't matter how disgusting it was, I had to have it. Okay? I think that has I think that when you're obese for a long time, and I started getting overweight, chubby at 8. By the time I was what 12, 13, I think I weighed 185 pounds. I remember being the heaviest kid in my 7th grade class. What is that, about 12, 13? And I remember that our whole class, there was 3 girls and all boys and about 25 students, had to go to the front of the class when school started that year to weigh and have it recorded into this book. And the teacher said our weights out loud. And I remember I weighed 185 pounds and I was the heaviest kid in class and everybody laughed. Wow. And that's when the whole shame and the whole, I was overweight and I was shamed about it and all that kind of stuff. That's when all that stuff started. That's also when my battle with the yo-yo dieting started because I went home. I was in a foster home, and I went home and I asked my foster mother to please put me on some kind of a diet. And I think that's the first time I ever did Weight Watchers because I remember eating peas and tuna, and that was a Weight Watchers thing. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I spent a lot of my lifetime dealing with losing, gaining, and doing all that. And now it's such a joy to live my life in. Ooh, what am I going to do today? I'm going to work on the garden. I'm going to go do some shopping. It's the first of the month. I'm going to pay a bill. I'm going to do some errands. I've got to go to the hardware store to pick up our screen that we had rescreened. And I can have this big long list now, and I can have all these things that I'm going to go off and do today. And I do have a long list of things I'm going to do today. And I'm actually excited about it. I'm excited because I feel good and I know that I've got the energy to do it. I know that I've got the stamina to do it. I can get in and out of my car easily. Yeah, all that. All that. It's just life is good. And so, you know, we're maintaining. Everybody's Everybody's happy with where they are right now. I did a little bit of a trial thing. I tried to do I didn't try to do, I did a 20 total carb vegan for a couple weeks. Then we went camping and I kind of blew it while we were camping. Still say vegan, of course, because I'm vegan. But we did blow the eating when we were there on the camping trip, and just because it was fun. And we just got home recently, and we're just getting settled back into the house. And I'm actually going shopping today, and it's back into the low carb thing. I'm usually pretty low carb anyway because that's where I feel best. I had to play with my going low carb. I remember in the beginning of breakfast, well, 100 net carbs for a vegan, that's really low. And I tried that, and that didn't do a whole lot for me. Tried 75, that didn't do a whole lot for me. Tried 50, that worked pretty good in the beginning, especially when I was still at 265, up there. That worked pretty good, the 50 carb thing. And then eventually, after I lost quite a bit of weight, I kind of lowered it to 30 because I still had inflammation. And I wasn't quite sure where the inflammation was coming from. To tell you the truth, I still don't know exactly where it was coming from. But I do know that when I lowered my carbs to 30 or lower, most of my inflammation went away. Most of the painful joints I was having at the time, most of that stuff was gone after I got under 30 carbs. And doing the 20 carbs was because we're getting ready to do a special boot camp coming up, and that's what it requires. So it's going to be, I have to do it before anybody else can do it, right? That's just the way it goes. So, I think this video is getting a little bit longer than I planned. Oh yeah, I don't do videos that long. Okay, guys, so your update today, your update for August of 2022 is things are going swimmingly in our house. We're loving it. Oh, by the way, I jumped off the dock 3 times. I rode in the boat twice, and the reason these things are huge is because I had a stroke a couple years ago. I'm recovered enough from the stroke that I'm now dock jumping with all the family. There's a picture of us where like I think there was 12 of us that all went in at the same time. So life is good. Life is good. Low carb is good. Low carb is good. We don't miss anything. We don't want for anything. We're happy with where we are. We're happy with what's going on in our lives. The husband, the man-made, my big burly construction worker, electrician husband, is happy with the lifestyle. Happy with this. One of the people doing the best in our group on Facebook is a truck driver dude. He loves it. He's doing great. So go figure. It's not only doable, it's actually enjoyable, and it actually can become a lifestyle. Who knew, right? All right. Ciao, everybody. I'll see you soon.